I'm going to speak about the time when I was into Wiccanism and magic. And the reason why I'm going to talk about this is basically to discuss the point of, whether things like Wiccanism, magic, spirituality, whether that stuff is actually real. And, what was interesting is that when I was participating in magic and Wiccanism, I found it to be real. I found it to be valid. And even if you had told me then that magic and Wiccanism and spirituality is all made up, it's all me creating the experience for myself, I would have said to you, no, absolutely not. I would have argued the point and said that it's real, that the spirits that I'm communicating with are real, and that the experiences that I'm having while doing magic and while focusing on these incantations and meditations and spiritual type activities, I would have told you it's absolutely real. I believe in it, and therefore it is real, and that I can go through any application within spirituality, whether it is balancing my chakras or raising energy or aligning things, I would have said to you, it is real, I feel it. And now that I look back on the experience, this is now, I'm talking about let's say about 8 years ago. That's when I stopped and I actually looked at the point of whether any of that was real, because the fact that one can generate an experience such as energy within the physical, you can generate that just through belief and through focusing on a particular point. You can generate energy in the physical. You can draw a certain experience, say for example through your chakras and through your aura. Just if you focus on the experience and you believe it, you can generate that experience. And I've played with it many times since I've actually stopped working with energy, and since I've stopped things like working with, for example, magic, and I've stopped with all kinds of energy practices. I've proven to myself that at any given moment you can recreate the experience, if you want to, of energy tingling through the body, and basically, if I look back at my experience with, for example, Wiccanism. Now, me and my friend, when I was into Wiccanism, you get various types of Wiccanism. This is what people need to understand. A lot of people, when they watch my videos on my Wiccanism experience, they email me and they say, I don't understand Wiccanism. What I did wasn't real Wiccanism. You got to understand, you live in one part of the world and you practice one type of Wiccanism which you have accepted as valid, and there is actually over the world hundreds of various forms of one type of religion. Look at, for example, the belief in a Jesus and a God. In Christianity, you have hundreds of different variations of the belief of God and Jesus, and you get the same thing in Wiccanism. And basically what we believed is that you believe in nature and you worship the nature spirits and the deities and the elements, and you can call upon them, and you can then, from the energy that comes from Gaia and the earth, you can raise that energy for yourself, meaning you can take that energy into yourself, and through that you can perform magic. That's now basically a summary of the Wiccan practice as I followed it at that time. So what my friend and myself would do is, for hours and hours, a few times a week, we would get together, we would light some candles, switch off all the lights, have some really nice music playing, and we would chant and we would raise energy. So we would basically focus on allowing what we perceive to be earth energies, that is all around you at all time, believing that everything is energy and that it is there for you to harness and to use. And we would then run around in circles and swing our arms around, and we would say various enchantments and certain spells even while we were doing this to call upon the energies of the earth, and we would swing our arms around and we could actually feel the energy. You would believe that the energy would then, you would take it into your body, okay, and you would actually feel absolute tingling in your hands and fingers as you were drawing these energies into you. And you know, it's this we would do, as I said, a few times a week. And then what we would do is at some stage we would stop with the energy raising, and we would switch on some of the lights, and we would sit down and calm down. Then we would call upon the spirits, the gods and the goddesses and our guides that we believed in at that time. And we would, you know, put all the candles in the form of the pentagram according to the elements: earth, fire, air, water, spirit. And we would then call upon our gods and goddesses that, you know, took care of us. And once everything was in place, we would then ask them for whatever it is that we wanted, and ask for their permission and their blessings. Now we have raised energy for these deities and gods and goddesses, and we were basically in a way allowing and asking them to protect us or to provide for us through certain spells which we would cast. So basically we would write down on a piece of paper whatever you wanted, and then you would burn it, and through that casting your spell and asking the gods and goddesses for whatever it is that you asked for. And through all the energy that you raised, you're making it possible for them to manifest within this physical reality what you wanted. And what was interesting is that we never got what we wanted. Meaning, I basically wanted, you know, the usual stuff. Like, we asked for things like, you know, a nice job where I can, you know, I don't want to have to work like other people. I want a nice job. It was always about, you know, like witchcraft and Wiccanism and you know, performing of magic and that type of stuff. It's always about trying to find a shortcut way to provide for yourself through magic, for yourself here in this physical reality. So you want a magical solution for all your problems. So what we did is we would cast these spells, and they were always about, I want a nice job and where I earn lots of money, and I want a perfect boyfriend. So you would write out the profile of what would be the perfect boyfriend, and then you would burn a little piece of paper, and then 2 weeks later this magical guy would appear, and it will go well for 2 weeks, and then the relationship turns abusive, or the guy, you know, runs off and sleeps with somebody, or you become bored with him, and then you ask the question, hey, how did that happen? And then you kind of overlook the fact that none of that was real, and that you living out your pre-programmed existence, and you're allowing yourself to fall for, you know, things where you're not directing yourself here in practical common sense. You are following this belief that magically something is going to come your way. So you're completely not taking self-responsibility. So something will come your way and you'll be like, wow, the gods and the goddesses, they're doing this, they're providing for me. So time and time again, you know, you would end up in situations where something appears to be, you know, somebody will phone you and offer you a job, and then you have a temporary job for 2 or 3 weeks, and then we would say it was the spell that worked, you know. And then the one time I remember we were getting into like darker magic, what we call grey magic, is where you start, like let's say for example in white magic, you only perform spells around, you know, positive things like good health and, you know, protection and that kind of thing. Now black magic, obviously you work around the absolute point of self-interest, where you are casting spells and making offerings to, you know, really get what you want and to get back at people and to put spells on people, and, you know, like doggy eat dog type of attitude. Now grey magic is where you are combining the two. So we were getting into grey magic, which is where we would call ourselves white witches until you fuck with us, and then we fuck back. Meaning we would actually, if somebody pissed us off, we would not, normally we would cast good spells asking for protection and for, money and good job and that kind of thing, the thing that normal human beings wish for. And then if somebody hurt us or somebody said something bad about us, then we would get together and we would cast dark magic spells. Okay, we didn't make offerings like blood and baby sacrifices and stuff like that, but we would call upon some extensive dark magic beings, which, we would have all this research on what type of spirits there are, and the dangerous ones and the ones you should never call up, and the ones that if you do call them up you're going to end up in trouble and all kinds of crap. And basically we would then push the point of inviting these dark demonic beings, because basically from the literature that we had, they would explain that if you call this being, you would give this being energy and or sacrifice depending on what the being was okay accepting, and basically you would then go into a contract with this being, okay, where you would say to them, hey, go and punish John because John was ugly to me, and then in return I will raise energy for you and provide you with energy every day, and I will be your loyal servant, and I will believe in you and be devoted to you and basically worship you. Like, they would say that these deities would want you to worship them. So we would call upon all these intense, dark, demonic forces, and they would arrive, and the room would go ice cold, and there would be like this ice cold breeze blowing through the room, and this being would arrive, and we would communicate with the being. And as I mentioned, at that time we had utilized the tool of the Ouija board, which was quite handy because then we were communicating with these beings. We adapted the use of the Ouija board to be able to communicate with these beings. So these beings would come through and say, yes, I am Cronos, and what would you like, my child? And then we would be like these giggling little children who were now so excited because we called Cronos, or we called whoever the hell, and the being would say, okay, what do you want? And we would say to the being, look, so and so pissed me off today, I want you to break his legs. I mean, we used to do stuff like that. So the one time it was quite interesting because, and I'm just sharing this experience with you because to show you to the extent to which I allowed natural, you could say, events that were playing out, pre-programmed events that were playing out in my world, which I longed for it to be special. I longed for a certain sense of power in my world. So I was interpreting events as being, I did that with magic, I am powerful. So, for example, the one time my friend's cousin, she was ugly towards us and she said ugly things about us to other people. So we decided that night we were going to put a spell on her. And we basically said we want something really, really bad to happen to her. And the next day she was in a major car accident. And we were really impressed with ourselves because we thought we had done this. And for years we basically carried that point. And a few years, about 2 or 3 years later, a friend of mine, he was having certain experiences in his life and things weren't going well for him, and him and I got into an argument and our friendship broke up. And years later, which was actually 2 months ago, I saw him in a mall, and he got such a fright when he saw me, and he said to me, please, whatever you're going to do, just don't hurt me. And I said to him, what are you talking about? And he says to me, no, after our friendship broke up, he knows that I cursed him because his life went absolutely downhill from there on. And every psychic and every medium that he went to and every spiritualist who he asked for help to cleanse his house would say to him, somebody put a curse on you, there are demons here in your house. And, he knew it was me and that I'd cursed him. Now, I'd done nothing. I mean, I had not, after our friendship broke up, I was already, moving on to a new phase of my life, and I wasn't into that anymore. So it's not that it would have been valid, but it was interesting because I looked at this point And I just said to him, I actually said to him, dude, you know that you're creating these experiences for yourself, that I actually did nothing. I do not have the capacity, neither have I had the capacity, and that you have pre-programmed your experience of yourself as it is now to believe. You believe in all this energy crap. You believe that demons can attack you and spirits can attack you, and you are generating these experiences yourself. You know, exactly what I did when I believed in magic and Wiccanism and all that. I believed that good things can happen to you if you raise energy and you cast spells. Nothing happened, but every single little tiny good event, like somebody would say, hey, you know, here's a job for you, or somebody would be nice to me, or a boy would ask me out on a date, and I'd be like, oh, the spell, it worked. You know, absolutely placing all self-responsibility outside of myself on some magical force, because I had completely devalidated myself to the point where I was nothing, and I felt that there was nothing I could do in this world, so I had to rely on magic. And I said to this guy, I said to him, you know, really, I didn't do anything, and I've realized since that time that all of that magic stuff was absolutely self-created, and I was creating, me and the person I was doing it with, we were creating the experiences inside of ourselves. We were working ourselves up in such a state where we felt powerful just through the idea of magic and witchcraft. We felt bad and evil. And I said to him, and everything that happened to us, we put it down to magic. If something good happened, we said, oh, a spell came true. Remember that spell we cast 2 months ago? Yeah, it's happening. If one of us stubbed our toe, we would go, shit, you know, what deity did we piss off? What did we do wrong? Is somebody casting a spell on us? We would completely became delusional about this reality, and we placed everything outside of ourselves and just, you know, blamed everything and everyone and didn't take self-responsibility for anything. So, you know, my experience with Wiccanism and witchcraft, it was as any religion. Remember, I'm talking now not only about Wiccanism and witchcraft and paganism, I'm talking about every single religion is your belief in something, and you are generating the experience that you are having because of your religion. You are generating the experience yourself. Whether you are a Christian or a Satanist or a Buddhist or it doesn't matter what religion you belong to. Look at it for yourself. You find a religion, you either grow up and your parents tell you, hey, this is what religion you must belong to, you know, or your society that you grow up in will predominantly be that religion, or you will find something like I did. You know, I was 18 and I was looking for something where I could participate and have some fun, and, you know, and I found Wiccanism, and it completely resonated with me at that point. It was who I was becoming, it was what I wanted to do, and from there on, every parameter that is set within that religion that all other people have experienced, you then become that experience as well. So the Christian will go and sit in church, and as everybody is like praising the Lord, everybody in the church will have the same orgasmic God experience, and the Buddhist monks will all have the same experience, meaning you will already have seen how others experience themselves, and you will observe others and their behaviors, and you will then adapt that experience for yourself, and you believing that it's true. I mean, that is why you belong to religion in the first place, because you believe there's something greater than yourself that is taking care of you, because you fear taking self-responsibility. That is why we belong to religion, because we actually believe that the symbology of a god and a devil is responsible for our actions and our decisions. The same as I went into Wiccanism and spirituality because that specific symbology resonated with me. I wanted to feel powerful. I wanted to be able to harness these evil forces that were floating around that could protect me and follow me around and, you know, give me things. And I wanted to be able to manipulate this reality through energy without actually getting involved physically, because that would have meant going out and getting a job like everybody else, and I was not willing to do that. Therefore, I wanted to shortcut by being able to sit in my house, in my protected bubble, and direct my reality through energy, which is absolute separation. It's not how this physical reality actually works. And therefore separated myself into my bubble of spirituality. So for each person does that, and that's why you will pick a religion that resonates with you. It doesn't matter what religion it is. You can tell me you are a Satanist or a Jewish person or a Christian or into fairies or into indigo, light and love. It does not matter. You believe in something, and then through that belief you get to generate an experience of yourself. You give yourself permission to have that experience, and that is why every single person of a religion will think they're more special, or their religion is the right religion, or them belonging to that religion, they're right. That makes you more right and more special than the next person who is in another religion, because you think you have got it right. And the more you can generate your special experience, like me and my friend, we would look at experiences that we were having going, you see how spells worked. You see that girl had that car accident. I'm right. I am belonging to the right religion. And that is what I've realized about my own experience was that I was creating these experiences for myself. I wanted to feel powerful and in control, and I did not want to have to take responsibility for myself. And one of the reasons why I belonged specifically to Wiccanism was so that people would leave me the hell alone. I mean, if you're wearing a pentagram around your neck and you have black hair like I did, and you're wearing black clothing, and people come up to you and say, whoa man, what's with the pentagram? And you say to them, excuse me, I'm a pagan. Or you say to him, I follow Wiccanism. People are predominantly, most of the time, going to leave you the hell alone, because you represent the unknown, that which they fear, that which their religion has told them is dark and evil and will come and get them. And that's basically what I wanted to do. I wanted to separate myself from everybody else. I was tired of growing up in a home environment where I had to protect myself emotionally. So symbolically, I was looking for something that I could protect myself through. So I wanted a coat in the form of my religion that I could put on that protected me. And I took on a very tough stance, and people mostly left me alone. And I made things seem significant which actually had no meaning. And how I tested this for myself, if you want to test for yourself who the hell are you if you haven't defined yourself through some airy-fairy religion, is to basically stop all participation in religion, in spirituality. And you will find one very interesting thing, as I found. It wasn't easy at the time stopping, because I was completely dependent on energy. But I found that I remain here in the physical. I worked for many years with stopping the thoughts that would come up that would normally take me to the point of being dependent on a guide or on a god or something like that. All the thoughts that are actually running in the background, which is, I can't do this, I'm not good enough, I'm not clever enough, I'm not pretty enough. What if somebody picks a fight with me? How will I protect myself? I don't want to have to work. I don't want to have to face this reality. I don't want to have to earn money. I don't want to be like the next person, just a normal physical body. And facing that point of not being special in this world was a big one for me, because I created such a personality for myself of being special, of being this being of light and love. And I even went through the light and love phase, where I was God's disciple here on this planet sent to save people. I've done that as well, and it was very tough for me to realize, okay, I'm here in the physical like everybody else. I'm of substance. I'm created equally to every other being. Everything in this physical reality is created of the same substance. Therefore, we are equal and one. We share this planet together. We are made of the one and the same substance in different forms. Now, we have, through the mind, created ideas and perceptions that we are different. and we've given those things names and values, and we're all participating in it. Oh, you're different because you're white. Oh, no, you're different because you're black. You're a Christian, so you're different to me. And oh, sis, look at that person. Poor person living on the street. Disgusting. And that's absolute bullshit. And if you stop the ideas that you have in your mind that you are somehow special and that you're living on this planet this one lifetime, and please, I just want to be famous, I just want to be like that movie star, I want to be like that, that comes up in all of us. That's where we go out and we get ourselves into a point where we want to buy things, we consume, and we pick a religion, and we want the perfect relationship, and we want to control people in our environments, and you create a personality in the end which outshines all other personalities. And I suggest you might ask me, why should you stop? Because we're abusing each other to all feel special and to be special for this lifetime. It's not worth it. Look at all the abuse that is being allowed in the name of specialness, in the name of ego, in the name of being something, and you will actually see that it's all in our minds. We made it up in our minds. Every judgment and idea that exists in my mind is just there. It's not the physical reality. So yes, you might say to me, but I'm an indigo and I have specific abilities. Pre-programming, so what? I have the ability to, for example, I'm good at drawing. You have some indigo ability to be able to sense people's emotions. So what? It's all pre-programming. Just like the next guy who is naturally good at becoming a doctor and he becomes a heart surgeon. Now somebody has said, whoa, that's special because we've given that value. And certain things we give more value than the other thing because of money, and specialness. Because it makes certain people feel good if you can do a certain thing. So I don't particularly want to hear stories of people telling me, yes, but I have a certain ability. And therefore I've proven to you, this makes me special. No. If you are not living in this world and supporting your planet that you live on and doing what is best for all who are sharing this planet with you, then I'm not interested in hearing stories about any abilities unless you can stand equal in everybody who is doing their best and use that skill to actually bring about change where there is no such thing as abuse and separation and starvation and abuse in the name of capitalism. And if you can use your abilities and your skills to bring about a change to the world system so we can all live here equally to our highest potential as man, then absolutely go for it. But if it's just to make yourself feel special and to have a cool YouTube page, I'm really not interested. So anyway, that is my experience of spirituality and Wiccanism, where I've taken it to the extreme and I've had to work with the point of letting go of specialness and just being here in the physical and living. And that's my experience that I wanted to share with you. Thank you.